My friend, listen to me with full attention, because what I am about to tell you is not theory, not philosophy for the sake of books, but a truth that life itself will demand of you. The greatest enemy you will ever face is not outside of you. It is not the opponent in the ring, nor the man on the street, nor the difficulties that try to break your body. The greatest enemy is within your own mind. If you lose control of your mind, you have already surrendered before the battle even begins. A man can have muscles of steel, but if his mind is weak, he will collapse under pressure. But if the mind is strong, if the mind is disciplined, if the mind is unshakable, then no pain, no fear, no insult, no rejection, no loss can ever truly defeat him. Control of the mind is control of life itself. Today I will give you 7 lessons, not shallow words but powerful rules that will show you how to never lose control of your mind again. Take them seriously and they will change the way you see yourself, the way you fight, the way you live. 1. Rule your thoughts before they rule you. Your thoughts are not light little guests that come and go without meaning. They are not just passing clouds. They are seeds, and like every seed, they carry within them the power to grow into something far greater than themselves. A single thought can become a habit, and a habit can become a destiny. If your thoughts are weak, negative, and filled with fear, your life will naturally become weak and filled with struggle. But if your thoughts are strong, disciplined, and filled with belief, they will create a foundation that nothing can shake. Every man, whether he realizes it or not, carries inside his mind a garden, and each day, without fail, he is planting. The question is, what is he planting? Some men, without awareness, throw seeds of doubt into their soil. Others plant jealousy, anger, or hopelessness. They may think these thoughts are small, but when left unchecked, they grow into thick weeds that choke every good thing trying to grow. My friend, you must understand this clearly. If you do not rule your thoughts, they will rule you. They will drive your decisions, shape your behavior, and create the person you become. A man who is mastered by his thoughts is like a boat drifting without a captain. The waves toss him here, the wind pushes him there, and he ends up wherever chance takes him. But a man who learns to discipline his thoughts is like a warrior with a sharp sword. He does not swing wildly, he chooses carefully. He knows when to cut, what to cut away, and what to protect. This is the difference between a weak man and a strong one, not in muscle, not in wealth, but in the control of his inner garden. Whenever a negative thought enters your mind, do not welcome it as if it were your master. Do not let it sit down and make a home inside you. Confront it directly. Ask yourself, does this thought serve me? Does it build me into someone stronger? Or does it tear me down, make me smaller, make me weaker? If the thought is destructive, cut it off at the root. Refuse to let it grow. But if it is a thought of courage, of discipline, of focus, of belief, then water it, nurture it, and allow it to grow deep roots in your mind. This practice of choosing which thoughts to keep and which to reject is not done once. It is done daily, like tending a garden. Understand this. Your outer world will always reflect the quality of your inner thoughts. If your mind is filled with weeds, your life will feel heavy, chaotic, and lost. But if your mind is filled with disciplined and empowering thoughts, your life will grow with strength, purpose, and clarity. Control of thought is not optional. It is the very foundation of controlling your mind, and controlling your mind is the foundation of controlling your life. 2. Don't react. Respond with control. Most people live like slaves to their emotions, reacting without ever pausing to think. An insult is thrown at them, and instantly they lash out with anger. A small setback comes their way, and immediately they drown in frustration or self-pity. A rejection arrives, and they collapse as if the world has ended. This is how the ordinary man lives, like a puppet, with his strings pulled by every situation, every word, every opinion of others. But when you live this way, you are not in control of your life. You are being controlled, not by your own will, but by everything around you. A single insult can ruin your entire day. A single rejection can break your spirit for weeks. A single failure can convince you that you are worthless. This is not strength, this is slavery. To react blindly is to hand your power over to the world. But to respond with control is to take that power back. The difference between reacting and responding is the difference between weakness and mastery. Reaction is instant, blind, and emotional. Response is calm, deliberate, and chosen. Think of it like fire. A spark lands and a dry field bursts into flames. That is reaction. But a man who is wise uses that spark to light a torch, a candle, something purposeful. That is response. I trained myself to pause in the face of provocation. When anger tried to rise inside me, I did not simply explode. I breathed. I watched. I asked myself, is this worth my energy? Will this serve my growth? Or will it waste me? That pause, my friend, is everything. Inside that pause lies your strength. A man who reacts is predictable. You can control him by pressing the right buttons. But a man who responds is unshakable because no one knows what he will choose. He is free. Remember this, control is not weakness. The world may tell you that if you don't fight back immediately, if you don't shout louder, if you don't prove yourself in the heat of the moment, you are weak. But true strength is not found in noise, it is found in mastery. A lion does not roar back at every barking dog because the lion knows his power. In the same way, when you learn not to react but to respond, you show the world that you are in command of yourself. Control means that when insulted, you remain calm and choose whether the words deserve your attention or not. Control means that when fear rises, you use it to sharpen your awareness instead of letting it paralyze you. Control means that when sadness comes, you turn it into wisdom instead of drowning in despair. You are not suppressing emotions, you are mastering them. You are directing them, shaping them, and using them as fuel. The space between what happens to you and how you choose to act, that space is your greatest weapon. Most people have no space. They are struck, and they react instantly. But if you can create that space, if you can pause, breathe, and decide, then you are untouchable. No insult can own you. No rejection can define you. No situation can break you. You hold the reins. Never forget this lesson. The man who reacts is a slave, but the man who responds is a master. When you stop being controlled by everything outside of you and start choosing your responses, you unlock a power that no one can take away. 3. Discipline is freedom. Many people misunderstand discipline. They think of it as something heavy, as a prison that locks them away from joy, freedom, and comfort. They look at discipline as a burden, something to avoid, something to escape from. But those who reject discipline do not realize that they are already trapped in chains. Chains of laziness, chains of distraction, chains of weakness. They are not free at all. They are slaves to their impulses. When temptation calls, they obey. When tiredness whispers, they surrender. When distractions appear, they follow without resistance. This is not freedom. This is captivity. True freedom does not come from doing whatever you want, whenever you want. That kind of life may look appealing, but it quickly collapses into chaos, regret, and wasted potential. A man who eats whatever he wants, whenever he wants, loses his health and strength. A man who spends his days chasing comfort loses his sharpness and his spirit. A man who lets his emotions and impulses lead him will always end up serving them like a servant serving a master. That is not freedom, it is slavery of the worst kind, because you are enslaved not by someone else, but by yourself. Discipline, on the other hand, is true freedom. Discipline is the ability to command yourself, to give an order to your body and your mind, and to know they will obey. It is the ability to say, I will rise early and train, and then rise without excuse. It is the ability to say, I will stay focused on this task until it is done, and to remain unmoved by distractions. It is the ability to decide that you will not be ruled by comfort but by purpose. That, my friend, is freedom. The freedom to live by choice instead of by impulse. The freedom to pursue your highest self instead of falling into your lowest habits. When I trained my body, I was not just training muscle, speed, or technique. I was training my mind to submit to my will, because the body will always seek comfort. It will tell you, rest longer, stop now, take it easy. But the mind must be stronger than the body. Discipline is that strength. Discipline says, keep going. Discipline says, push through. Discipline says, you will not stop until I command it. That is why those who train in martial arts, in sports, in any demanding practice, develop not just skill, but character. They learn mastery of themselves. Think of a sword without a master. It is dangerous, cutting wildly, harming whatever is near, even the one holding it. But in the hand of a disciplined master, the sword becomes precise, powerful, and effective. The mind is the same. Without discipline, it cuts you down, scattering your energy in 1,000 directions, wasting your life on meaningless pursuits. With discipline, it becomes a tool of creation, a tool of growth, a weapon of power. Do not mistake comfort for freedom. Comfort will rob you of your edge. It will make you fragile. It will turn you into someone soft who cannot withstand life's trials. Freedom is not lying down while the world passes you by. Freedom is standing tall, unshaken, with full control of yourself. Freedom is knowing that no matter the difficulty, no matter the temptation, you will act with strength because you have trained your mind to obey your purpose. So remember this truth. Discipline is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally. Discipline frees you from regret because you know you gave everything. Discipline frees you from weakness because it strengthens every part of you. Discipline frees you from the control of others because when you can command yourself, no one else can command you. Without discipline, you are a slave to your impulses. With discipline, you are a master of your destiny. 4. Detach from the noise around you. The world is loud, my friend. Every day, voices surround you. Voices of opinions, criticism, judgment, and endless chatter. The world will tell you who you should be, how you should live, what you should chase, and what you should value. If you are not careful, you will find yourself drowning in that noise. You will lose your sense of direction, not because you lack strength, but because you allowed the world's voices to be louder than your own. And when that happens, you are no longer living your life. You are simply existing as a shadow of other people's expectations. I have seen men who never truly knew themselves because they were too busy trying to please others. They tried to wear masks that were not theirs, to walk paths that were not meant for them. They listened to the judgments of the crowd and silenced their own inner voice. And what became of them? They lived without clarity, without authenticity, without freedom. My friend, if you want to master your mind, you must learn to detach from the noise around you. You must step away from the constant stream of opinions, distractions, and external control, and reconnect with the silence within. Detachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean you stop caring about people or the world. No, detachment means that you no longer let every passing voice control you. It means you listen carefully, but choose wisely what enters your mind. It means you develop the strength to filter out what weakens you and keep only what strengthens you. Just because someone says you cannot achieve something does not mean you should carry that thought into your heart. Just because society tells you success must look a certain way does not mean you must accept their definition. Detachment gives you the clarity to separate truth from illusion, strength from weakness, reality from noise. When I trained, I understood that silence was as important as movement. In silence, I could hear myself. In silence, I could see clearly where I was going. In silence, I could sharpen my mind and focus my energy. If you are always surrounded by noise, television shouting, phones buzzing, people gossiping, you will never hear your own thoughts, and worse, you will never hear your own truth. This is why I learned to step away, to be alone, to reflect, to breathe, to reconnect with myself. The crowd does not define me. Their applause does not build me, and their criticism does not break me. I define myself. That is detachment. Think of your mind as a cup. If it is already filled with the opinions, fears, and judgments of others, there will be no space for your own wisdom, no space for your own voice. To grow, you must first empty the cup. This is what I mean when I say empty your mind. When you detach from noise, you create space for clarity. You begin to see your own path more clearly instead of following someone else's. You begin to recognize what truly matters instead of chasing what the world tells you matters. But if you do not detach, if you allow the world's noise to dictate your mind, you will live as a slave. You will dress to please them, speak to impress them, chase things only to gain their approval. And yet, at the end of it all, you will still feel empty because none of it came from your true self. Do not let the noise outside of you be louder than the voice inside of you. That voice, your inner voice, is your compass. It is the only guide that can lead you to authenticity, freedom, and peace. So, detachment. Step back from the endless noise. Silence the distractions. Empty your cup so that it can be filled with your own truth. Detachment is not weakness, it is strength, because it gives you the power to choose for yourself, to live for yourself, and to walk the path that belongs only to you. And when you learn to detach from the noise around you, you become untouchable, because no voice, no criticism, no outside force can ever again control your mind. 5. Master the energy of your emotions. Your emotions are not your enemy, but if you fail to master them, they will become your prison. Anger, fear, sadness, envy. These forces can consume a man and turn him into a shadow of himself. Most people live as slaves to their emotions. When anger rises, they explode and destroy relationships, reputations, and even their own peace. When fear whispers, they retreat, missing opportunities and running away from challenges that could have shaped them. When sadness comes, they collapse, forgetting that storms eventually pass. They allow emotions to dictate every decision, every reaction, every step. But let me tell you something, my friend. A man who is ruled by his emotions is like a warrior who hands his sword to his enemy. He has already surrendered. But emotions, when mastered, are not weakness. They are power. Anger, when wild, blinds you. But anger, when controlled, sharpens you, gives you energy to fight with focus and precision. Fear, when uncontrolled, paralyzes you. But fear, when mastered, heightens your senses, making you alert and aware of danger, guiding you to act with intelligence. Sadness, when left to grow unchecked, drowns you. But sadness, when embraced with wisdom, deepens your compassion, makes you see the struggles of others, and gives you strength to rise not just for yourself, but for those you love. Every emotion carries energy. The key is not to suppress it or let it destroy you, but to redirect it, to take that raw energy and make it serve you instead of enslave you. When I trained, my body was not the only battlefield. My mind was a battlefield, and my emotions were often the strongest opponents. There were times when frustration burned in me because I could not perfect a movement. There were times when doubt whispered that I was not strong enough, fast enough, skilled enough. There were moments when fear tried to take over before a fight. But instead of surrendering to those emotions, I learned to master them. I did not deny their existence. I did not pretend they were not there. I faced them. I asked myself, what is this anger teaching me? What is this fear showing me? What is this sadness trying to awaken in me? And then I used the energy hidden inside those emotions to fuel my growth. Understand this. Emotions are like fire. Left uncontrolled, fire will burn down your house, destroy your possessions, and leave you in ashes. But controlled, that same fire will cook your food, warm your body, and forge steel into weapons. The difference is not in the fire itself, but in how it is handled. In the same way, emotions are neither good nor bad by nature. They are energy. The question is, will you let that energy burn you, or will you learn to direct it so that it builds you? The weak man tries to suppress his emotions, to lock them away, to pretend they do not exist. But suppressed emotions do not disappear. They fester, they grow, and one day they erupt with destructive force. The wise man does not suppress his emotions, but neither does he become their servant. He acknowledges them, studies them, and then transforms them. When he feels anger, he does not strike blindly. He channels it into discipline, into sharper focus. When he feels fear, he does not run. He uses it to prepare, to become more aware, to anticipate what might come. When he feels sadness, he does not collapse. He allows it to expand his heart, to teach him empathy, to make him stronger than before. The mastery of emotions is the highest form of strength. Muscles may grow weak with age, but the man who has learned to master his emotions will never lose his power. No one can control him, because no insult can provoke him, no failure can paralyze him, no loss can destroy him. He may feel the emotions fully, deeply, like any other human being, but he remains their master, not their victim. That is true strength. So do not fight against your emotions as if they are enemies, and do not worship them as if they are gods. Treat them as powerful energy. Respect them, but command them. Redirect their flow until they serve you. Because when you master your emotions, you master the most unpredictable and dangerous battlefield of all, the battlefield within. And once you win there, you will never again lose control of your mind. 6. Live fully in the present moment. Most men are prisoners of time. They are not bound in chains of iron, but in chains of thought. Their minds are either chained to the past or chained to the future, and because of this, they never truly live in the only place life exists, the present moment. Think about it. How many times have you replayed old mistakes in your mind, as if dragging yesterday's failures into today will somehow change them? How many nights have you lost to worrying about a future that has not even arrived, imagining scenarios that may never happen? And in doing so, how much of the present moment, the only moment that is real, have you allowed to slip through your fingers? The past is gone. It cannot be touched, no matter how much you think of it. The future is not here yet. It is a shadow, a possibility, but not a reality. Life is not lived yesterday, and life is not lived tomorrow. Life is lived here, now, in this very breath, in this very heartbeat, in this very action you are taking. Yet most people live everywhere except the present. They live in regrets, or they live in fears, and because of that, they are never fully alive. When I trained, I understood this truth. If I allowed my mind to wander to tomorrow's fight, to what could go wrong, to whether I would win or lose, my body would already be weakened by fear. If I allowed myself to dwell on yesterday's mistakes, replaying what I did wrong, I would be carrying extra weight into today's training. Neither helped me. The only thing that mattered was the present moment. The punch I was throwing right now, the kick I was delivering right now, the breath filling my lungs right now. When I gave myself fully to that moment, my mind and body became one, and my power reached its peak. Living in the present is not about denying the past or ignoring the future. It is about refusing to be controlled by them. Learn from the past, but do not live in it. Prepare for the future, but do not fear it. Anchor yourself in the present moment, because that is where your strength lies. When your attention is scattered between yesterday and tomorrow, you weaken yourself. But when all of your energy is focused in the now, you become unstoppable. Think of an archer aiming his bow. If his mind is thinking of yesterday's missed shots, his hands will tremble. If his mind is already on tomorrow's battle, he will not see the target in front of him. But if his mind is fully present, his breath steady, his focus sharp, then every movement aligns and the arrow flies true. That is the power of the present moment. It aligns everything, your mind, your body, your spirit, into one point of focus. Many people believe they cannot enjoy life because their circumstances are not perfect. They say, "I will be happy when I achieve this, when I reach that goal, when I earn this much, when I find that person." They are always waiting for life to begin in the future. But the truth is, life is already happening and they are missing it. Happiness is not waiting for you in some distant tomorrow. It can only be found now, in this breath, in this step, in this moment. If you cannot be alive here, you will never be alive anywhere. To live fully in the present requires practice. It requires awareness. It means slowing down enough to notice your own thoughts, to catch them when they wander. It means reminding yourself again and again, "This moment is all I have. Let me use it fully." It means giving your full attention to whatever is in front of you, whether it is your training, your work, your conversation with a loved one, or even the simple act of breathing. When you live like this, your life becomes richer, deeper, more powerful. The man who masters the present moment is free. He is not haunted by ghosts of the past, and he is not chained by shadows of the future. He stands firmly in the now, alert, alive, powerful. And because he is here, fully here, he can give his best to every situation, every challenge, every opportunity. That is why the present moment is not just important, it is everything. It is the battlefield on which your life is fought. It is the arena in which your victories are earned. It is the space where your true power exists. So do not waste your life chasing what has already passed or fearing what has not yet come. Live now, train now, focus now, love now, act now. This is the only reality you will ever have. And when you learn to master your mind so that it stays here, firmly rooted in the present, then no regret and no fear can control you. You will be untouchable because your power will always be alive in the only place life exists, the moment you are living right now. 7. Create your own path, don't copy others. Imitation is easy, my friend, but it is also a prison. The world is filled with people who spend their entire lives copying others, following the footsteps of those they admire, or trying to live by the script that society has handed them. They wear clothes that others approve of. They speak words that others want to hear. They chase goals that others told them to chase. And yet, deep down, they feel empty. Why? Because they are not living their own life. They are actors performing on a stage that does not belong to them, reading lines that were never meant for their voice. I learned very early in my journey that if I wanted to become truly free, I could not live as a copy. I could learn from others, I could study from masters, I could respect tradition, but I could not chain myself to it. To imitate blindly is to bury your own uniqueness. It is to silence the voice that was given only to you. And what is a man without his own voice? Nothing more than an echo. The world does not need more echoes. It needs originality. It needs people who have the courage to stand up and say, "This is my way." I have said before, and I say it again, absorb what is useful, discard what is not, and add what is uniquely your own. This is not just a rule for martial arts, it is a rule for life. When I created Jeet Kune Do, it was not because I wanted to destroy tradition, but because I refused to let tradition destroy me. I respected what worked, but I rejected what was useless. I built something that was alive, something that could adapt, something that was mine. And in the same way, you must do this with your life. Think of it like building a house. You can study the designs of others, you can use materials that have proven strong, but if you build only by copying someone else's blueprint, you will always live in their house, never in your own. But when you take what is useful, when you learn from everywhere, and then design your own blueprint, you create a house that reflects you. That is freedom. That is authenticity. The danger of imitation is not just that you lose your uniqueness, but that you make yourself predictable and vulnerable. In combat, if you move exactly as your opponent expects, you have already lost. In life, if you live exactly as society expects, you will never discover your own greatness. The man who imitates may find safety, but he will never find mastery. Safety is for those who fear, mastery is for those who create. Do not fear standing apart. Do not fear breaking away from the crowd. The crowd is large, but it is weak because it is made up of people who are afraid to be themselves. The individual who dares to walk his own path may walk alone at first, but he will walk with strength. He will not be shaken by trends, not controlled by opinion, not defined by tradition. He will be defined by himself. And that, my friend, is the highest freedom a human being can achieve. Creating your own path does not mean rejecting everything. It means being awake enough to see clearly. Learn from the wisdom of others, but do not worship it. Respect tradition, but do not become its prisoner. Take from life the lessons that strengthen you, and then add your own. Do not be afraid to experiment, to fail, to discover. That is the only way to live authentically. The man who creates his own path is powerful because no one can predict him, no one can control him, no one can replace him. His strength is not borrowed, it is his own. His victories are not copies, they are original. And when his life is done, he leaves behind not just a shadow, but a light that others can follow, not by imitation, but by inspiration. So I say to you, do not live as an echo. Do not spend your life imitating, repeating, and copying. Be the voice, not the shadow. Take what you learn, but then transform it into your own way, your own truth, your own creation, because only then will you truly be free. And when you live as yourself, when you walk your own path with courage, you will never again lose control of your mind, because your mind will no longer belong to the world, it will belong to you. 8. Silence your inner enemy before it destroys you. The most dangerous opponent you will ever face is not standing in front of you. It is not the man who throws punches. It is not the world that throws obstacles. It is not the critic who throws words. No, my friend. The most dangerous enemy you will ever face lives inside your own head. It is the voice that tells you that you are not good enough, not strong enough, not ready enough. It is the whisper that says you should give up, that you should settle for less, that you should stop before you embarrass yourself. And if you do not confront that voice, if you do not silence it, it will slowly destroy you from within. This inner enemy wears many disguises. Sometimes it comes as doubt. What if I fail? Sometimes it comes as fear. What if I get hurt? Sometimes it comes as laziness. I can do it later. Sometimes it comes as perfectionism. I must be perfect before I begin. But make no mistake, all of these are masks of the same enemy, your weaker self. And if you allow that weaker self to rule your mind, then no matter how strong your body is, no matter how many opportunities you have, you will live small, you will live defeated, and you will live chained to the prison of your own thoughts. I have seen men who looked powerful on the outside, muscles carved, speed sharpened, strength obvious, and yet they were fragile on the inside because their inner enemy ruled them. One word of criticism and they collapsed. One failure and they never rose again. One setback and they gave up forever. They trained their bodies but never trained their minds, and because of that, their greatest enemy was never conquered. Understand this truth. The enemy within cannot be ignored. You cannot pretend it is not there. You cannot hope it will disappear on its own. The inner enemy must be confronted directly. When that voice of doubt rises, do not treat it as your master. Treat it as a challenger. Face it and answer it with action. When it whispers, "You cannot," you answer with, "Watch me." When it says, "You are not ready," you respond, "I will prepare." When it says, "You are too weak," you answer, "I will grow stronger." This is how you silence the inner enemy. not with wishful thinking, but with discipline, courage, and relentless action. The weak man listens to the inner enemy and obeys. The strong man listens, but he does not bow. He observes the voice, understands its tricks, and then chooses his own path. That is the difference between slavery and freedom. Your mind will always create thoughts of fear, of doubt, of weakness. That is its nature. But you must never allow those thoughts to dominate your spirit. You must be the one who decides which thoughts take root and which ones are cut away. Think of your mind as a battlefield. On one side is the inner enemy, whispering weakness, fear, and defeat. On the other side is your higher self, whispering strength, courage, and determination. Every choice you make, every action you take, feeds one side or the other. If you choose comfort, you feed the enemy. If you choose discipline, you feed your strength. If you choose fear, you feed the enemy. If you choose courage, you feed your power. Every day is a battle, and every day you must choose. But here is the secret. The more often you defeat the inner enemy, the weaker it becomes. Each time you rise when you feel like giving up, the enemy loses power. Each time you act in courage instead of fear, the enemy shrinks. Each time you push through pain instead of running from it, the enemy falls silent. And one day you will find that the voice that once ruled you has become nothing more than a faint whisper, powerless against your will. Silence your inner enemy before it destroys you. Do not wait. Do not delay. Do not negotiate with it. Confront it, defeat it, and take back the power that belongs to you. Because the truth is simple. If you do not master your mind will master you. And when the enemy within is silent, no enemy outside of you can ever defeat you. 9. Break the chains of fear before they paralyze you. Fear is the most common prison in the world, and most men do not even realize they are locked inside it. Fear is not always loud. Sometimes it is subtle, whispering in your mind, convincing you to play it safe, to stay where you are, to avoid risk. It tells you, don't try, you might fail. Don't speak, you might be judged. Don't fight, you might get hurt. Don't reach too high, you might fall. And little by little, fear steals your freedom. Not by force, but by persuasion. It convinces you to shrink your life, to avoid challenges, to step back instead of forward. And when you obey it, you may feel safe for a moment, but you will feel empty for a lifetime. The truth is, fear will always exist. No man is born without it. I felt fear before stepping into fights. I felt fear when standing in front of new challenges. But the difference is this: I never allowed fear to paralyze me. I never allowed fear to make my decisions for me. Fear is not the enemy. Paralysis is. Fear can sharpen you if you use it correctly. It can keep you alert, aware, alive. But if you allow it to dominate your mind, it will freeze you in place, and frozen men never grow, never win, never live fully. Fear feeds on imagination. Most of the things you are afraid of exist only in your head, not in reality. You are afraid of failure before you even attempt. You are afraid of rejection before you even ask. You are afraid of defeat before you even step onto the battlefield. You suffer more in your imagination than you ever will in reality. And this is why fear is such a powerful chain, because it convinces you to surrender before the fight even begins. But here is the truth. The moment you confront fear, it begins to dissolve. Fear thrives only when you run from it. It grows only in avoidance. When you step toward it, when you face it directly, when you act in spite of it, fear loses its grip. The light of action burns away the shadow of fear. Each time you act, you weaken fear. Each time you avoid, you strengthen it. That is why courage is not the absence of fear. It is action in the face of fear. Courage says, yes, I am afraid, but I will step forward anyway. Think of fear like a shadow. When you face away from the light, the shadow seems long and overwhelming. But when you turn toward the light, the shadow falls behind you. Fear is the same. When you turn your back to it, it grows larger. When you face it, it shrinks. That is why warriors train themselves not to run from fear, but to step into it. Because on the other side of fear is freedom. Most people allow fear to dictate the size of their life. They never travel where they want to go because fear whispers it's too risky. They never start the project that could change their life because fear says, "What if you fail?" They never speak their truth because fear says, "What will they think?" And so their life shrinks smaller and smaller until all that remains is safety without meaning, safety without growth, safety without life. That is not living, my friend. That is existing. But you are not meant to exist. You are meant to live fully. You are meant to break the chains that hold you and walk boldly into the unknown. Fear will always be there, waiting at the edge of every new challenge. But instead of retreating, step forward. Let your heart beat faster. Let your body feel the tension, but move anyway. With every step you will realize that fear was never as big as it appeared. It was only a shadow. So, break the chains of fear before they paralyze you. Do not wait for fear to disappear, because it never will. Do not wait until you feel ready, because you never will. Act now. Step forward now. Prove to yourself that fear cannot control you. And when you learn to act in spite of fear, when you learn to break its chains, you will find a freedom that few men ever experience. The freedom to live without limits. 10. Control your focus or lose your power. Your focus is your life force. Wherever your attention goes, your energy follows, and wherever your energy flows, your destiny grows. Yet most people do not protect their focus. They scatter it across meaningless distractions, wasting it on gossip, on endless scrolling, on worrying about what others think. And then they wonder why their lives feel weak, why their progress is slow, why they are tired but never fulfilled. My friend, the truth is simple. If you do not control your focus, you will lose your power. I have seen talented men who had great potential, but they could not focus. They had strength, but their strength was scattered. They had ideas, but their attention was divided. One moment they chased one thing, the next moment they chased another. They lived like men trying to light a fire but blowing on 1,000 small sparks instead of nurturing one flame until it became a blaze. Focus is the difference between a candle that flickers in the wind and a laser that cuts through steel. Without focus, your power is wasted. With focus, your power is unstoppable. When I trained, I did not allow distractions to enter my space. I did not allow noise to scatter my energy. When I was striking, I was only striking. When I was breathing, I was only breathing. When I was studying, I was only studying. This is the essence of focus, to give your whole being to the present task. Most people try to do many things at once, and in doing so, they weaken every one of them. The mind becomes restless, jumping from one thought to another, never fully alive in any of them. But the warrior understands that power comes from unity, mind, body, and spirit moving in one direction, with one purpose, with no distraction. Distractions are everywhere, and if you are not alert, they will steal your focus before you even notice. Your phone buzzes, your mind wanders, your attention breaks. A single thought of doubt enters, and suddenly you are no longer present. Every distraction, no matter how small, drains a piece of your energy, and energy drained is life wasted. If you want to rise above the ordinary, you must treat your focus as sacred. You must guard it as a warrior guards his weapon, because without it, you are defenseless against the chaos of the world. Focus is not just about ignoring distractions, it is about choosing what matters most and pouring yourself fully into it. Ask yourself, what deserves my attention? What will build me, strengthen me, move me toward my purpose? Then cut away everything else. Focus is not about doing more, it is about doing less, with more intensity, more clarity, more discipline. It is about sharpening your life into a blade that cuts through confusion and goes straight to the heart of what matters. Understand this. The quality of your life will always reflect the quality of your focus. If you focus on problems, you will live in problems. If you focus on excuses, you will live in excuses. If you focus on growth, you will live in growth. If you focus on purpose, you will live in purpose. Whatever you feed with attention becomes stronger. Whatever you starve of attention becomes weaker. This is why focus is power. It is the act of feeding your strength and starving your weakness. But focus also requires sacrifice. You cannot hold on to everything and expect to move forward. You must let go of distractions. Let go of things that waste your time. Let go of people who drain your energy. A warrior cannot carry unnecessary weight into battle. In the same way, you cannot carry every distraction into your life and expect victory. Choose your battles, choose your goals, and then direct all of your focus toward them. That is the way of mastery. So I tell you, control your focus or lose your power. Do not let the world scatter your mind like leaves in the wind. Train yourself to bring your attention back again and again to what truly matters. When you learn to focus fully, your actions gain power. Your training gains depth. Your relationships gain presence. Your life gains meaning. Focus is not just about success. It is about freedom. Because the man who controls his focus controls his mind, and the man who controls his mind controls his life. 11th, shape your identity or be shaped by the world. If you do not decide who you are, the world will decide for you. And when the world decides, it does not choose what is best for your growth, your truth, or your freedom. It chooses what serves its own needs. Society will give you labels: strong, weak, successful, failure, worthy, unworthy. And if you accept those labels blindly, you will spend your entire life living inside a box built by others. That is not life. That is imprisonment. The tragedy is that most people never truly discover themselves, not because they cannot, but because they never took control of their own identity. They allowed the voices of others to define them. From the beginning, you are told who you are. Your family, your teachers, your culture, the media, all of them pour words into your mind. And if you are not careful, you will mistake those voices for your own. You will live chasing dreams that are not yours, holding fears that were never meant for you, carrying burdens that do not belong to you. The mind is like clay, and if you do not shape it with your own hands, the world will shape it for you. But clay shaped by others can never reflect your true form. I knew early on that I could not let the world decide my path. If I had accepted the limits others placed on me, I would have been nothing more than a shadow. I was told that I could not succeed because of where I came from, because of my background, because of the color of my skin. I was told to follow tradition, to stay in the lines, to fit into molds that did not belong to me, but I refused. I understood that if I wanted to be free, I had to shape my own identity, to build my own way, to decide for myself who I was going to be. That is what gave birth to my philosophy, my art, my life. Shaping your identity is not about pretending to be something you are not. It is about stripping away everything that is false so that your true self can stand revealed. It is about asking yourself with honesty, who am I when no one is watching? Who am I when there is no applause, no criticism, no expectation? Who am I at my core? The answers to these questions are not given to you by others, they are discovered within. And when you discover them, you must live them, no matter how much the world resists. The danger of not shaping your identity is that you will live your entire life as a reflection, never as the original. You will imitate others, adopt their opinions, wear their masks, and at the end of your days, you will look back and realize that you never truly lived as yourself. That is the greatest tragedy a man can face, not death, but the death of the self while still alive. Shaping your identity requires courage. It requires breaking away from the safety of the crowd. It requires standing firm when others misunderstand you, criticize you, or try to force you back into their boxes. But this is the price of freedom, and it is worth it. Because once you have shaped your own identity, once you have chosen who you are and committed to living it, no one can ever take it from you. You will walk with clarity, with confidence, with peace. Remember this, the world will always try to shape you. It will tempt you with comfort, pressure you with expectations, and attack you with judgment. But you are not here to be shaped by the world. You are here to shape yourself, to carve your own form, to create your own truth. Decide who you are and live it fully, because the man who shapes his own identity cannot be controlled, cannot be broken, and cannot be forgotten. He is free. 12. Align your mind with action or live in illusion. Thought without action is nothing but illusion. Many people live in their minds, endlessly dreaming, planning, and imagining, but never stepping into the reality of doing. They speak of what they will achieve. They picture themselves becoming stronger. They fantasize about success, but their lives remain the same because their thoughts never leave the safety of their imagination. A man can spend his entire life thinking about greatness and still die ordinary, because thoughts alone do not shape reality. Actions do. Understand this. Your mind is powerful, but if it does not lead to action, it becomes your prison. Overthinking is one of the greatest enemies of mastery. It creates hesitation, and hesitation creates paralysis. You can analyze forever, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for certainty, waiting for courage, but life does not wait. The opportunity you delay today may never return tomorrow. The moment you hesitate, fear grows stronger, doubt digs deeper, and your inner enemy gains control. The mind loves to trick you with illusions. It whispers, "I will start when I am ready. I will act when I have more time. I will change when the circumstances are better." These are lies, excuses dressed as logic. The truth is simple. You will never feel completely ready. You will never have the perfect conditions. And if you wait for them, you will waste your life in hesitation. The only way to align your mind with reality is to act now, imperfectly, courageously, decisively. When I trained, I did not stand in front of the mirror imagining punches. I threw them again and again until my knuckles bled, until my arms burned, until my body could not forget the movement. That is how thoughts become reality, through relentless action. Thinking about discipline does not make you disciplined. Acting with discipline does. Thinking about strength does not make you strong. Training does. Thinking about courage does not make you fearless. Facing fear does. Thoughts are the blueprint, but actions are the building. Without building, the blueprint is worthless. Do not mistake knowledge for mastery. You can read 100 books, memorize philosophies, listen to countless teachings, but if you do not apply them, they will rot inside you like unused potential. Knowledge is wasted when it is not lived. Mastery comes only when knowledge is translated into action. To know and not to do is the same as not knowing at all. The alignment of mind and action is the secret to true control. When your thoughts and your actions are divided, you live in conflict. Your mind says one thing, but your body does another. Your spirit wants freedom, but your habits keep you chained. This inner conflict destroys your power. But when thought and action unite, when what you believe, what you say, and what you do all flow in the same direction, you become unstoppable. Your life gains clarity, your energy multiplies, your mind becomes a weapon, and your actions become its strike. Do not live in illusion. Do not allow yourself to be a man who thinks but never does. Align your mind with action. If you believe in discipline, live it. If you desire growth, train daily. If you want courage, face your fears. If you want freedom, take steps to break your chains. Do not wait for tomorrow. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Begin now, act now, live now. Because in the end, it is not what you thought about that will define you. It is what you did. The world does not remember men of ideas. It remembers men of action. Thoughts alone die with you, but actions live beyond you. Align your mind with action, and you will never lose control of yourself, because your life will no longer be an illusion. It will be a living reality of your strength, your truth, and your freedom. My friend, we have walked through 12 powerful rules, 12 weapons of the mind, 12 shields against weakness, 12 keys to unlock the freedom that so many men seek but so few ever find. These rules are not theories written in books to sound wise. They are truths forged in the fire of struggle, born from sweat, pain, and discipline. Each rule is a blade, and when you master all 12, you become a warrior of the mind, untouchable, unbreakable, unshakable. Remember what you have learned. Rule your thoughts before they rule you, because every destiny begins in the mind. Do not react blindly, but respond with control, because control is the highest strength. Embrace discipline, because discipline is not prison, it is freedom. Detach from the noise of the world so that you can hear your own voice. Master your emotions, transform them into power, and live fully in the present moment, because the now is the only battlefield where life is fought. Do not live as an echo, but create your own path, one that belongs only to you. Silence your inner enemy, break the chains of fear, control your focus, shape your identity, and finally, align your mind with action. For thought without action is illusion, but thought aligned with action is unstoppable. The world will always try to break you, distract you, and control you. It will throw obstacles, critics, temptations, and fears at you. But none of these can defeat you if you master your own mind. The enemy outside can only win if the enemy within is weak. That is why the greatest battle you will ever fight is here, inside your head. Win that battle, and no force on earth can conquer you. Lose it, and you will be defeated before the fight even begins. So I ask you now, will you live as a slave to your thoughts, your fears, your distractions, or will you rise as a master of your own mind, a warrior who commands himself, a creator of his own destiny? The choice is yours, and it must be made every single day. No one can walk this path for you. No one can fight this battle for you. It is yours and yours alone. But understand this, when you master your mind, you master your life. You will no longer be tossed around by circumstances, no longer controlled by emotions, no longer paralyzed by fear, no longer silenced by doubt. You will stand firm, clear, powerful, free. You will live not as an echo, but as a voice. Not as a shadow, but as a light. Not as a prisoner, but as a warrior. Never forget, the body may weaken, the world may change, but the mind, once mastered, is eternal strength. Protect it, discipline it, sharpen it, align it. Make it serve you, not enslave you. Because once you never lose control of your mind again, you will never lose control of your life.